Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to be painting the underside of the hood today for the Dually. I could not find that bracket I was talking about a week or so ago. So I went up to the junkyard and they cut off the fender here, part of a fender. I need this bracket here. Well, this bracket is spot welded in a couple spots to this lower bracket. I'm going to drill out the spot welds. I'm not worried about re-spot welding it on the truck because there's 2 bolts that go through it. So that won't be an issue. So I need to do that first and then get the hood flipped over, which the hood's in here. I got to get it flipped over so I can scuff it. We're only really going to paint the outer perimeter of it and then put the insulation back on it just to try to save on materials, because the materials are expensive and I want to make sure I have enough for the whole truck itself. So I don't want to blow a bunch of paint on the whole underside. Maybe I'll use a different white first, and maybe I'll base the whole underside and then just shoot some pearl around the perimeter of it. And then we'll put that on. Now I haven't put the radiator in yet because I had to order a lower radiator hose because nobody had one in stock. So O'Reilly's got me a lower radiator hose. So I got to put that on because it's obviously easier to put on now where I can get to it, rather than after the radiator's in. So my goal today is to get the underside of the hood painted and that bracket for the hood. And then tomorrow I got to work on the fan shroud and stuff. I need to get that painted because I believe that's what holds the radiator in place. I haven't looked at it yet. It's out back. So let me get this drilled out. I'll do that off camera. I'm gonna save this clip actually now that I'm looking at that. I'll do that off camera, get that drilled off of there, and then we'll work on scuffing the bottom side of the hood up with a red Scotch-Brite pad. All right, I got the hood flipped over. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of sanding, a little minor surface rust where the hinges were. Now I was hoping that this hood insulation could be reused, but apparently a mouse had gotten to it at some point, so it's garbage. So I'm probably just gonna have to pearl the whole underside of the hood. I was hoping not to do that because, you know, I want to try to save as much material as I can for the outside of the truck, but we should be fine. I definitely have more pearl than I do white base coat. I'm just using a pair of side cuts here, and I'm leaving them open and just shoving them under these plastic clips and just prying up on it, and it pops them right out. I do have a tool which might work better, but I forgot to grab it. I think I'm going to have to grab it for the center ones. Let me go see if I have it in here. Okay, the tool I had I think broke at one point, so I don't have that, but I have this one. Plastic pry bar, and this will work as well. That one broke. Now the ones that don't break, I save them. You never know when you might need one. Yeah, this hood insulation's nasty anyways. It's all greasy. A couple of these broke. Oh, you're never gonna believe this, guys. I found the other bracket, but I remember this one had holes drilled all the way through it. And this one is the one I did today, and what I did was I drilled them from the bottom side, because somebody had already started drilling these ones when I went and got it. So I was able to, so if anything, this one looks better. But yeah, go to figure, I found it. It was still on the hinge. Let's take this light off, which is pretty beat. I'm probably going to throw that away. It's completely rotted. I think that's a 10 millimeter. I'd be surprised if the bolts even come out. Oh no, you know what? I think it's an 8 millimeter. Hey, here's another one of these I could save. That one's garbage. Jesus, it was a 7 millimeter? 7 millimeter. It came loose. Yeah, this thing's seen better days. I'm gonna guess that they're just not gonna run hood insulation. Yeah, you can see where the mouse just ate the crap out of that thing. This stuff is itchy, and usually insulation doesn't bother me. This stuff is pretty freaking bad. So try not to rub it on my arms. Doesn't bother my hands. All right, so we gotta pull off this hood latch because I'll repaint that black. These are gonna go. These clips are rusted to shit and they look like crap. All in all though, the hood's in really good shape. We're gonna be able to knock a lot of this down with the DA sander, and then we'll just hit the areas that I can't get with the DA with the red Scotch-Brite pad. The flathead screwdriver, I want to pull those two clips because they're just all rusty and look like shit. Yeah, I knew that was going to break. Might be able to put a screw or something in that and be able to slide it back in. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll glue it on. I don't know yet. Probably can order another one. I believe those are 13 millimeter. Little tiny bit of rust on that lip, but not bad at all. Nothing that won't clean up. Now I'm going to get some 320 on my DA sander, and we're going to knock this thing down real quick. Now I am using a red Scotch-Brite pad and going over all the corners and areas that I couldn't hit with the sander. I always throw away the Scotch-Brite pad after I do undersides of hoods and door jambs and stuff like that because of contaminants. I just throw them in the garbage and never use them on the outside of a panel of your vehicle because you could create issues when you go to paint the outside of your vehicle. Okay, I was going to paint the bottom side of this tonight, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use this rust reformer, and I'm going to hit these spots that I sanded down real good, because there's a few spots, and I don't want the surface rust to come back through. So what this does is it goes on clear, and then it'll turn the rust black. Okay, and that's really going to be the best way that I can kind of stop this rust, because you don't want to sandblast. You're going to sand underneath every brace. No matter how well I blow this off, you know damn well, first pass with the spray gun is going to blow dirt out from somewhere, and it'll be stuck under the hood, because that's just how it goes. Unless it's a brand new hood, is the only time that that doesn't happen. So I'm just hitting the spots that had minor surface rust. They're not even really pitted, and these areas here that are the worst, there's a hinge going over top of it, but still, I would rather stop it or slow it down than to cause, you know, more rust in the future. So what I'm going to do now is the hinges. I'll just do that off camera. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to get this painted and the hinges painted, so that we can, I'm going to go actually go look. It's dark out. I might be able to go out back and see about the, what kind of shape the fan shroud and stuff is in, because that was painted white and it's probably all flaked off and crap, and I'm going to have to probably re-prep that. So chances are I'm not going to be able to paint that tomorrow. Yeah, I'll just look at it in the morning. I'm not even going to try to paint it tomorrow, because I already know it's going to need work. So I'm going to let this stuff dry overnight. I'll knock down the hinges, and if there's any sort of rust on those, I'll hit that as well. And if you look here where I sprayed it, you can already see where the little pits were, how it's turning it black, and that's what's going to do. And then we'll just run the Scotch-Brite pad over it afterwards, before I paint tomorrow. Now, before I put the white on, I'm going to put an epoxy primer down. Okay, so I'm going to epoxy primer the whole underside of the hood, and then we'll put our white down, our pearl down, and our clear. So it should form a pretty good barrier. Like I said, these areas, I mean, what's the likelihood of that rusting through farther? The truck's not going to be driven in the winter or anything like that, but to try to stop it the best we can, this is really the only solution I have to do that. And as you can tell, it's definitely turning it black already. So, all right, I'm going to end this video. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to come out here and we'll get this stuff painted. And then next step, I guess I'll be working on the fan shroud and stuff. I have a feeling that's probably all going to blow off with the blowgun or something. It's old. I mean, it's been painted for 20 years, and it's been sitting outside underneath my back porch. It's under the roof, but it's outside. I guarantee it's going to just flake off. So we're going to have to re-prep all that. But because I'm 99% positive that's what holds the radiator in. But it's getting there. So once we get this painted, I can get that stuff painted. We can get the radiator in, get that in, get the hood on, and then at that point, it's just some minor bodywork tune up here and there, and then we're ready to start painting. We're going to paint the roof and back wall in one shot, and then we'll paint the sides of the truck with the hood on the second pass. So it's going to be a two painting process. If you look here, let me show you real quick in case I had made a video on it earlier, probably a month or two ago, showing how I was going to tape it off. The door jambs are already done. I did those a while ago. As you can see, they're all done. They look nice. So, and that is not the latch, that's tape. I took the latch out. So basically there's a weather stripping that goes on this pinch seam here, and we're gonna tape off right here at this edge, and we're gonna shoot the roof, and we're gonna tape off on this inside edge right here, right down to there, and that will all be one paint job. And then we're gonna come in here and we're gonna back tape it right here along this side, not this side, but this side, because what will happen is when the bed of the truck's on, you won't see in there. You barely see in there anyways, but if you were to, you won't see a tape line right there because it'll be hidden on that side. So basically I'm gonna be shooting the back wall and the roof in one shot, and then the sides and the hood. And then obviously the front bumper cover, the mirrors are already painted, the front bumper cover, stuff like that, I just paint separately because that would be hell to try to paint that. Plus you'd be getting overspray on everything else, trying to paint the bumper and shit on here. So that's where I'm at so far. We're getting there. I wanna have this in the spray booth by next week. Weather's shitty outside, snow, ice, and I'm a little worried about it because I gotta pull this outside and then pull it back in on this side. And it's a extremely tight fit getting in there. These doors are only 8 foot wide, and this being a dually, let's grab a tape measure. I'm actually kind of curious. I took the outer tires off because I knew that would make it not as wide. But I mean, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be probably a little jack, a little finagling. Luckily my neighbor should be back in town to give me a hand. So how far past the, about 5 inches, so we'll say 6 inches, that hub sticks out past this tire over here. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera, guys. Trying not to. I don't have my tripod with me. So let's hang that over 6 inches. All right. So we're at 81 inches wide, and the door opening is 96, 95 probably. So, I mean, I got room, but it's gonna suck. It's not gonna be easy. I'll get it in there. It's gonna be a tight fit. Front to back's gonna be tight too. And that's another reason why I'm not gonna worry about the front bumper on the truck, because I'm barely gonna have room. Basically, I wanna pull it in there forward. So that means that this frame rail, I wanna try to get as close to the back, to the doors of the booth as possible, so that I can walk around the front of the vehicle. If for some dumb reason that, I know it's long enough. I'm gonna measure the length of this real quick. Okay, the spray booth is 22 foot 6 inches, and this is 20 foot. What did I say, 22 foot 6? And this is 20 foot 6. I'm gonna have about 1.5 to 2 feet. It's gonna be tight, that I gotta squeeze around the front here to get around it to paint. I don't paint vehicles this big. I paint old cars, and 90% of what I paint's in pieces. So this is a rare exception for what I do. I'll never usually have anything this big. This is definitely as big as I would ever get anyways. So it will fit. It's just gonna be, it's gonna be a little tight, but we'll get it done. So, all right guys, I'm gonna end this video. Tomorrow morning, I'll do a video. We'll get that underside of the hood painted in those brackets, and then we'll keep making videos. We'll get this thing wrapped up here. I wanna get this thing painted before I might have to have knee surgery again. So I want to get it in paint so it can dry for a little bit if I'm laid up for a week or two. So, all right guys, thanks for watching. Please come back tomorrow and we'll get some pearl white painted on the underside. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Other than that, guys, I'll see you later.